Hey you, how's it going? My name is Ruby Price and today I'm going to talk to you about vinyl. Yeah? So I'm going to be real here. I never used to see the appeal of vinyl. I was always someone who thought, you know, what's really going to be the difference between listening to it on MP3, listening to it on Spotify, listening to it on CD. Last summer when I was just reaching the end of second year of university doing a music journalism degree, everyone had been going on about vinyl for like the last 2 years. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, it's about time I give it a chance. And since then, I've just kept buying loads and loads of vinyl. If I buy music now, it's primarily on vinyl. Something else that did influence my decision to start collecting vinyl was my mum had a bunch of singles lying around the house. She ended up putting them in my room. I had to look through them and I thought it was cool that like you could just flick through such large, well, they were large, relatively large, like discs, and there'd be stories behind them because they took knocks, people looked at the artwork and all of that, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So I thought, you know what, I want to have my own set. I want to have the music that I love, and I want to have it in this large, complete package. You've got the artwork, you've got any supplements that come with it, you've got the vinyl itself. And yeah, I love it now. But the point of this video isn't for me to gush about vinyl. Oh, well, gush. I'm not going to say that again. No. The point of this video is not for me to just talk about how much I love vinyl. It's to talk about the vinyl that I have. The records that I have in vinyl, the singles that I have in vinyl, the EPs that I have printed on vinyl. So, let's get started. And I'm going to start off with a band. I think everyone needs to have at least one album by these guys on vinyl. And I have two. But the first one is this. Arctic Monkeys' Favourite Worst Nightmare. It's just a standard black vinyl, but it's just, I think it's cool. And it was the first Arctic Monkeys album I had on vinyl, and I just really like it. And let's follow that up with their latest album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. I got this from a HMV pre-order so that it would be clear rather than the stereotypical black vinyl that you tend to get. And I do really like the way this works. Like, you've got the massive design on the front, which is kind of strange because really the cover is quite minimalist, but it's so big. And I don't think I would have noticed that on a CD cover, just how all you've really got on this is the tape recorder machine and the hotel, but that's about it. Whereas, for example, with Favourite Worst Nightmare, you've got the house. It takes up more than half of the album cover. Then we've got As It Is, The Great Depression. This is probably one of my favourite vinyls that I own because it's a double gatefold vinyl. There are two actual vinyls to this. A sort of neon pinkish, reddish colour. I made a joke that it has the same colour scheme as the Nintendo Switch, and Ben retweeted that joke. And you've got the other side, which is a sort of baby blue, turquoisey colour. One of my favourite things about this album is that it's divided up into 4 sections, which are the 4 stages of depression. The Great Depression's the name of the album, and that's how it works. And each stage is on one side of the vinyl. So I think that's pretty cool. You wouldn't get that with a CD because it just goes round and round. And this is the first vinyl I ever bought. It's As It Is okay record. I thought, you know what, this is my favourite album at the time. It's going to be the first album that I buy on vinyl. And it's a sort of mint green. And I really like it. It really fits with the aesthetic of the album. Like this whole 60s or 50s theme. I can't really remember which kind of style this is. But the whole nuclear stuff, I just really like it. And this was the album that made me think, yeah, vinyl is for me. Surprisingly, I haven't actually got the first album on vinyl, but it is on my Amazon wishlist, so if you love me, you know where to go. This one brings a tear to my eye because this band literally broke up this weekend, and it's Dead's The Golden Age of Not Even Trying. I got it signed by them, and yeah, I really like this one because it's the band's only album. They couldn't have done it any better. When they actually announced that they were going to be splitting up as a band, the first thing I did was put this on and cry. And I'm crying now too. But yeah, I'd recommend this album to anyone who wants to listen to some sort of alternative. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a great album. I might end up saying that about a lot of music that I'm about to show you, but that's the point of this. So the next one is an album that I wasn't really anticipating, but was won over by it entirely. It's Emma Blackery's Villains, and I got this on a yellow vinyl. It's printed on yellow vinyl, which is really cool. I think it's a HMV exclusive, and I don't know if it's sold out yet, this version of it. There was also a red version available on her web store, and a standard black version available elsewhere. I've been a fan of Emma for a while, but it's mostly been because of her pop-punk music that I've gone for. And this album is explicitly pop. And you know what? I don't care. It is full of amazing songs. And as Steph said on my channel a couple of weeks ago, if it's a tune, it's a tune. And this album is full of tunes. Now, this is an album I haven't really listened to much on vinyl. It's Enter Shikari's A Flash Flood of Colour, and it's got songs such as Gandhi Make Gandhi, which was actually the first Enter Shikari song I ever heard. I think this is the 4th reprint, and it is on yellow and red splatter vinyl, which that does just look pretty freaking cool as far as I'm concerned. But as an Enter Shikari fan, I'm just kind of catching up on their music rather than experiencing it, apart from The Spark, because I like that album. That was the album that actually got me into Enter Shikari, but this album has a lot of songs that I used to listen to for the first time for Enter Shikari. Gandhi Make Gandhi, Stalemate, Hello Tyrannosaurus, Meet Tyrannicide. The three Enter Shikari songs that I used to have on my phone, and that was it. It's changed a bit since then. And as well as that, we've also got Enter Shikari The Minesweep, and this is also like a reprint as well. I can't remember which version it is, but it's on blue heavyweight vinyl. There's some sort of like, in the middle, it's kind of thicker. You can kind of see the 2 different shades of blue. But yeah, I just really enjoy listening to this album. Yeah, so this was the first Enter Shikari album I actually owned, and it's The Spark. Like I said, it's the one that got me into Enter Shikari, and it's really cool, this, because it's a really thick case, and it comes with not just the vinyl. It comes with this. It contains a load of lyric sheets, and they're all like in the aesthetic of the album, for the attention of Mr. Magpie. I just really like it, and it's like a really interesting way of showing off the album rather than just, you know, having the album. And the vinyl itself is printed on a sort of grey silver thing with the whole baby blue aesthetic that they've been going for. And I just really, really like it. And then we come to the first EP on this list. This is Enter Shikari's Live Slow Die Old EP, and it's actually the 2nd print. I did order the 1st print, but the shop hadn't updated that it was out of stock, which meant I didn't actually get the 1st print, which is a shame. But yeah, I really like this because it's got the blue shades of splatter on top of clear vinyl, and it's also got Supercharge on it, and I really like Supercharge. It's got Big Nasty on it. And I never thought I'd say that in my life. And now we're on to obvious territory of music that I was obviously going to own. And I own Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes' Blossom, their first album. And I own this on a limited edition green spray paint splatter, is what it's called. Because it's kind of weird. And I bought it because it was limited to a certain amount of copies, and there was about 19 left when I saw it. So I bought one. And I like it. It's got I Hate You on at the end, and listening to I Hate You on vinyl is just crazy. But again, this is also an album that, you know, folds out, and it's got artwork and stuff. Yeah, I love it. I also felt I had to buy Modern Ruin by Frank Carter again. It's another fold out one. This one is a lot less, the artwork is a lot less an actual thing and more, you know, abstract and stuff. And the vinyl is another clear one. And something that I thought was really, really cool is the fact that it has hand etched into it. I bought this off Amazon, by the way. It says hand etched into it here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it says Mercy, I Love You, Kiss. and it's numbered 213. And Frank Carter's daughter is obviously called Mercy, and I thought that was, I didn't notice that until about half a year after I bought this album. Now this one is bloody heavy because there are 3 discs in here, and it's Frank Carter 23 live at Brixton, London. I went to the Manchester date of this tour, but this was available via their Pledge music thing, which I also think was pretty cool. It's triple fold, and you've just got a photo of Frank and Dean in the middle of Brixton Academy, and I just think it's beautiful, this bit. I just think it's incredible. Hello. Yeah, I should probably get around to actually showing you the vinyl in this, because there are 6 sides to it, obviously. And the first one is obviously a standard black vinyl, which I've talked about a lot, but I haven't actually shown any of in this vlog. Sides 3 and 4 are on white vinyl, which is pretty cool. And sides 5 and 6 are on this baby pink vinyl, which I just think is cool. Like, I wasn't expecting it when this live album was announced as a concept to have so much, like, pink all over it, but it just really works as an aesthetic. Look, you've got the black and pink and the white, and the black and pink and white. The only thing I get annoyed about with this album, and I know it's probably a style choice, it's just the fact that there's no spaces, it's all underscores and stuff. Look. Yeah, it's the one thing that irks me about this album, and that's just as a grammar freak. So this is an interesting one. This is the La La Land soundtrack, and the thing about La La Land is, when I first heard about it, I thought, well, that's obviously not for me. And then my friend Georgia told me that she really liked it, and then a few of us decided to go. And I loved the music of it so much that the day after I went to H&B and bought the soundtrack on CD. And then I ended up, when I got my turntable, I thought, that's a soundtrack that I really love. I'm buying it on vinyl. So I did. So this is an interesting one. My favourite band in the history of music is McFly. McFly were kind of weird because they obviously came about in the early 2000s and got popular in the early to mid 2000s. So they missed vinyl to an extent. But for some reason, there are singles out on vinyl from the first album. And I bought this off eBay for 20 quid. It's weird because on the front, you've obviously got the obviously single. And then on the back, you've got Interview Part 2. Where's Interview Part 1? Is that on 5 Colours? Is that on Room on the Third Floor? Where is it? I really do like this, and I do listen to it a lot, just even though it's one track. But I really like it. I don't even have a case for it, which is why I'm holding it like this. I stick it in with another McFly single that I bought off eBay. I tell a lie, I didn't buy this one off eBay. I bought this one off Discogs, which is a great place to log your music and see how much it's actually worth. The thing I really love about this one is it's The Heart Never Lies in the shape of a heart. And not only that, it's signed, but the A-side is The Heart Never Lies, like the actual single version, and the B-side is The Heart Never Lies radio edit. And the only thing that lets this down is the fact that the A-side doesn't play properly, it jumps. But the B-side works fine, and that's the radio edit of the main song anyway. So I believe this was a Record Store Day production, and I'm very grateful for them doing it, because I love this song. And this next one was also one of the albums that I just thought I had to buy, and that's because it's My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade. It folds out, you don't get this with the CD, and it just looks really, really cool. This is obviously not the artwork that the CD has, or that the Spotify version has, or the iTunes version has. I just really, really love the aesthetic of this album. Like, I found out when I was researching to do the ranking My Chemical Romance video with Chloe, and I found out that, like, the characters all have names and stories and stuff about them, and that's just something that, like, I had no idea was a thing before seeing the vinyl. Just how intricate and expanded this album actually is, and that's why I love it. So this album's a strange one. It's printed on light blue vinyl, and it's neck deep, Life's Not Out to Get You. I don't know which edition this is, because there are many listed on Discogs. But I bought this off Amazon, as you do. It's blue. It's very blue. So this is an album that, it was the first Neck Deep album I actually bought with money. I bought it on CD first, and then when I got my vinyl player, I ended up buying it on vinyl as well, because I wanted to have copies of albums that I loved on vinyl. This album made me fall in love with Neck Deep. Let's put it that way. And it's on white vinyl. It's a double gatefold as well. There's only one vinyl in here, but it's a double fold, and it tells the story of the album as well, which is something you also don't get with the CD. And this was my most recent purchase. It's Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, which is his, comeback album after leaving Oasis. And I just really like it, and it's an album that took a very long time for me to actually fall in love with. But when I did fall in love with it, I think it's a class album. So I just took this record out of its plastic case, and this fell out, which is the CD accompaniment, which I forgot was even in there, which just shows you how often I listen to this album on vinyl. But it's Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Chasing Yesterday, which is his follow-up album. I used to think it was superior to the first album, but then I listened to it again, and I just like more songs on the first album now. But it's got the fold again. I don't know who this guy is. Now these are another HMV purchase. It's Oasis, Definitely Maybe. Obviously this is the redone version, which came out recently. And it's double gatefold vinyl again. 2 discs. And you've got all this inside. The interesting thing about this album is that it actually has Sad Song on the album, rather than the fact that it's a B-side, which I think is kind of cool, because that song is an underrated masterpiece. And again, What's the Story, Morning Glory, the reissue. This one is a triple fold, which is interesting, despite the fact there's 2 vinyl. So this bit is just extra. And I think it's just because they wanted to use this photo, really, of Liam and Noel. Because I'd want to use that photo of Liam and Noel. And this was an album that my mum bought me off eBay. And it's Panic at the Disco, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. You've already seen this on my channel before. And it's black vinyl. It's double gatefold. Which is really cool, because you get to see all this imagery of this album. Which, defined a generation of MySpace. But, yeah, I just think it's really cool. Not to mention, I Write Sins Not Tragedies on vinyl. Great song. This was one of the first ones that I actually bought that wasn't from online and wasn't from HMV. I bought this in a charity shop, and it's Van Halen's self-titled album. And the reason why I bought this, because this really doesn't fit in. Well, I say that, you should see the next one. But this really doesn't fit in with my music discography in terms of vinyl, because it's Van Halen for a start, and I do believe that it is a really old one, because for one, it's flimsy, and for two, that doesn't look like a modern disc, because for a start, look at the Warner Brothers Records logo. Yeah, but yeah, charity shops, you cannot knock them for having decent vinyl every now and then. And the last LP I have to show you also got from a charity shop, and it's a Wagner one, believe it or not. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? This is Wagner Festival. The main reason I bought it is because it has Tristan and Isolde on, the Prelude, which is something that I did at A-level music, and I just wanted some nostalgia. I got this from Oxfam. And that's the last of the LPs, but I do have some singles, which I bought. And I bought HMV Liam Gallagher Wall of Glass, the single. This is the second edition because I didn't really jump on the bandwagon in time. And what I like about this is just the back just says Wall of Glass over and over again. They could have put a B-side on, but I don't think his songwriters wrote any B-sides. Shade. This is a Vant single, and it's on really cool red vinyl. And I got this directly from a press company who sent Radiohead a load of band merch and stuff. And I thought, I'm having that, so I hid it in my bag. There were other copies. I didn't take the only copy. Now these were my mum's. I seem to have adopted them, and it's the Bee Gees Tragedy, and I can prove it was my mum's because it literally says Don Gallimore on Bee Gees, and I think that is just It's not a tragedy, it's a great single, and I don't care what you say. I also have this really old Falling Apart single, and it's the Specials' Too Much Too Young. I don't really listen to the B-sides or the other bits, but I do like that one song. And then this one is definitely Falling Apart, and it's Queen, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. And on the B-side is the live version of We Will Rock You, which, you know, is the one that had the guitar running all the way through it, which I think is really cool. Borrowed off my mum, yet again. And yeah, before my camera dies, that's my vinyl collection. If you collect vinyl, let me know what your favourite is down below. What is your favourite of mine? If you have any, let me know. Comments below. If you want to check out what I'm listening to, follow me on Last.fm. There's a link in the description. It tracks all my music, what I listen to on Spotify, what I listen to on iTunes, what I listen to on my phone. Go and follow me on there if you use Last.fm. I think it's cool. And yeah, if you did enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and maybe share it with someone who's interested in vinyl. I hope you found it enjoyable. And yeah, I shall see you next time. Adios. Bye. That took 42 minutes. 42 minutes. Your camera's nearly dead. I'm surprised your microphones lasted that long. And you forgot to include Last Christmas by Wham.